Happy Thursday, everybody. We are live here with Ericka Kelly, and I don't even know where to start, honestly, because her story is so powerful, and there's so many things that she has done in her life that this is a story that you're going to want to listen to. And we were just talking about titles and roles in our life, and you guys, this is going to be something that just hits you really hard. So thank you, Ericka, for reaching out. Thank you, Dr. Rob, for introducing us, because without this, we wouldn't be here. And we're wearing similar colors. So,
I know.
it was meant to be. But so, ma'am, please tell me. I don't even know where to start. So, first, you served in the Air Force for many years, and then you
Mhm.
were a special agent. But most
Yes.
importantly, you're a mom and a sister. So, can you let's just start from the beginning?
From the beginning of
From
today
So let's start
or the
from
beginning of before?
before. So let's start from you are from Guatemala.
Yes.
Yes, which I love because I told you we were talking. My parents are from Peru, and it's very. I get very excited when I meet people from different cultures, especially when we're close like that on the map. And so, can you talk to us about your family? How did you come to the States?
Sure, sure. So let me start with an age. I was
Yes.
12, Annette, when I got to the United States. And a key factor of being an immigrant into the United States, at least for me anyway, was the language barrier and the cultural barrier. And I say that, Annette, because my two brothers and I were so primitive that we did not even know what a light switch was.
Mm.
And so outside of everything being new, literally everything was new, the buildings, the structures, the roads. We lived in a tiny little shack in Central America. Sometimes I share with people that I ate with my brothers. We ate ants and dirt to survive. The first time, and it sounds weird, but it's true. The first time I had an apple, the first time I had a grape was here in the United States because even though maybe I don't remember, maybe those fruits were in Guatemala, we were so poor that we were not exposed to that. So the journey is a mental journey as well as a physical journey. And I say that because at the age of 5, my two brothers and I were abandoned by our mother. We were locked into that shack that little shack that I just talked about. We were locked in. And um, did she do it to kill us? To this day, I don't know. But to this day, I want to think that she didn't.
Mhm.
We were in that room, in that darkness for 7 days before my grandmother rescued us. And the reason that I came to the United States at the age of 12 is because there was a huge earthquake that destroyed again everything that we had with our grandmother. The earthquake was big enough that the news made it to the United States. My mother, who lived in the United States, was remarried, had a little girl. Maybe my sister was a year old when I met her, went back to Guatemala, saw the conditions that we were in, and in an instant, Annette she just made the decision, you're coming with me. And because she had her husband in the United States, she never, Annette, I share this because it's shocking. She never told her husband, one, that she had 3 kids in Central America. And she never told her husband that she was going to bring them with her. So, in order to avoid a lot of, I guess, uncomfortable conversations, she chose to walk the trail of Guatemala to the United States through Mexico with the 3 of us, and we literally walked that 1,500-mile trail.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm. Yeah, that was my journey to this amazing country that I call home now.
That is very inspiring because you guys had the strength to do that. She made it happen. And how did that affect you as you were growing up?
And Annette, thank you for asking that because I did not want to come.
Mm,
Uh, my mother abandoned us.
yeah,
She disappeared from my memory. I
yeah,
was the oldest, so I was 5. My brothers were 4 and 3 when she left, and she literally disappeared from my memory. My grandmother became my mom.
yeah.
So when she shows up saying, "I'm your mom and I'm taking you," is who are you? And Annette, I think I can be raw
Hmm.
here with you. I'm just having a conversation with you and
Yes.
your audience, of course. But the reality of life, right? The truth that sometimes we hide is that I was angry. I was so angry as a 12-year-old that this crazy woman that appears in my life is my mother. You are my mother, and you're taking me away from my home. Mind you, we had nothing. But who was she to take me away from that? So my years from, I would say, the age of 12 when she brought us here to the age of 16 were very, Annette, very, very hard. She didn't know how to mother us. I was an angry child, bitter and disappointed that she was my mom.
Yeah.
My stepdad, I don't want to say hated us, but that poor man was put in a horrible situation to take care of us. And every day that we were with him, he told us we were not welcomed. That that home was his home, not ours. So I saw myself at 16 homeless in the streets of Las Vegas. So the process of growth, it's interesting that we sometimes start a conversation with, you know command chief Ericka Kelly or special agent Ericka Kelly or coach Ericka Kelly, and everything superficially looks like yay for Ericka,
Right.
right? But I'm here to share with you and the audience that there's a huge process and a huge life and a, my gosh, huge journey that we have to share in order for people to truly understand the magnitude of what we can accomplish in our lives.
No, you're absolutely right. Because, like we said, behind those titles and behind those achievements, there is a story
Hmm.
that nobody sees.
Yeah.
And so it's taken you your whole life to get to where you are mentally. So how did you do that? For after or while you're going through this process of trying to figure out who your mom is and why she did this and why you're here, how did you get through the rest of your days? Be trying to stay positive and motivated to continue to grow.
Yeah. And if I'm allowed to use the word angel
Mm-hmm.
in this room, that's how I did it. There were specific angels
Mm-hmm.
placed in my life that were there to give me a hand. One of them is the person that saw me as a teenager, lost, completely lost, that said, "Come and live with me." She and her husband and 3 kids, they moved the kids around. They gave me a room. I paid rent, but they gave me that shelter. And then I don't know if I can say it enough. That's what we need, right? We need a
Right.
safe corner where
Mm-hmm.
this is where nothing's going to happen to us.
Yeah.
So my friend, that amazing friend, gave me that shelter. She allowed me to continue working. I started working when I was 13
Mm-hmm.
in this country. And she also gave me the capability of finishing high school. So I was working during the day and going to night high school because I knew, right? I knew that education was going to get the hole that I was in. I knew that I needed to assimilate to the country by learning the language, by getting the education that this country was expecting for me to get.
Mm-hmm.
And she was that initial angel that gave me a hand for me to be stable for at least a few minutes, a few moments, a couple of years in order for me to move forward.
I love that you talk about angels because my mom came to the States from Peru at age
Mhm.
9. And so her mom and her family stayed in Lima and she came and lived with her aunt. But she had angels that helped her along the way. And
Mhm.
without them, I don't know because she was like you. She worked at a young age, and she learned that she had to work hard to get by. But to learn all those things so young, and even after my parents divorced, she tried to finish, or she finished her bachelor's degree while raising us too, but she had to work and then go to school at night. And so all these things just bring back memories on how hard both of you worked to continue to survive in the United States, because that's, I mean, you wanted to stay, right? After a while you wanted to stay in the States.
Of course,
Right.
yeah, of course, this became my home.
Mhm.
There was definitely a transition of me learning, of me surviving.
Mhm.
When we first moved, or the first city that we moved to in the United States, I don't know if you or the audience is familiar with the Linwood Compton area in
Mhm.
Southern California.
Mhm.
So, and that was, oh my gosh, I'm gonna date myself, but when I came to the country, Annette, it was 1976. So Compton and Linwood were not the safest place to bring a 12, 11, and 10-year-old that don't speak the language and cannot navigate through, let's say, a hood.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it was interesting.
So you found your angel. She helped you. She gave you
Yeah.
that safe space, and you continued to work and go to school. And then what was your next thing in life that you did?
Well, I made a huge mistake, but it's a mistake that I spent a lot of time talking to people about.
Mhm.
Sometimes we don't know why things happen to us, and then we're like, "Oh, that's why. That's why it happened to me." While again, 16, staying with a friend, I met someone that I thought was going to be my savior, my protector, my knight. And because of the background that I just shared with you, I didn't have a good model of what good was.
Hmm.
I didn't have a model of what healthy was.
Right.
I didn't have a model of boundaries, of margins. So this individual was, I was 16, he was 32. And people told me, not good, Erica. And I'm like, what's not good about? He's going to take care of me. I'm going to remember, always looking for safety, always looking for that security. So I ended up marrying this individual and being in a very violent relationship,
Mhm.
in which I sometimes I I talk about domestic violence and what that does to your mind.
Mhm.
But for me, I will be frank. I did not think that there was anything wrong with him beating me.
Mhm.
I didn't. I thought it was normal. I thought
Mhm.
that's what I deserved. He told me I deserved it. He told me I made him do it. And when he told me that I was ugly and I was fat and that I shouldn't eat so much, and he was going to tell me when I could eat. I believed him, and I asked permission to eat every single day that I was married to him.
And how
And
long did oh, sorry, go ahead.
uh, uh, it was I was married to him. I think I was so. This is a long relationship. I think I was married to him from the age of 20 to the age of 26. Long time. And remember, I met him when I was 16. So the conditioning and the programming that he was able to do in my already damaged brain was pretty significant. Pretty significant. When people go, you would ask to eat. Well, when he left, you could eat. But no, the control was so strong that he didn't have to be in the house. If in the morning he was mad and he's like, today you're not eating, blank blank,
Mhm.
right? I wouldn't, because that's what he said that I shouldn't do. If we went to oh my gosh, um, now you're bringing memories to my brain, and oh my gosh. But okay, so picture this, people. We would go to a Burger King or a McDonald's, and he would order a child's meal. So you got that, right? Little fries, little hamburger, maybe. He would cut the hamburger in half. That tiny little hamburger, cut it in half, one French fry, and pass it over to me while he ate the other half of that little meal and then whatever else he wanted to eat.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought it was normal.
You didn't know.
I didn't, I didn't.
You didn't know.
But now I do. And now I talk to children that have been abused. I talk to women that have been abused. Because of my law enforcement career, I was able to do some cases with human trafficking, human smuggling, and talk to damaged people. And somehow, somewhere, Annette, they knew that I knew. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
That connection,
yeah.
those babies, those little kids, they knew. And those women broken in 1,000 pieces, they also knew that I had been broken in 1,000 pieces.
Mm.
So sometimes we go through horrible things, and the only thing we see is the dark room. The only thing we see is this present that is really painful, really achy. What we don't see is that, and I tell this to people all the time, our present condition does not reflect our future.
Mm.
Our present condition is just that, our right now.
Right.
But the hope, right? The hope that there's something else out there is real. Is real. We just need to be strong enough, courageous enough to ask for help if we need to ask for help. If someone says, Annette, I can help you, then take a chance, take a risk, and grab Annette's hand and let her, let me walk you 10, 15 steps, and then it's going to be someone else and someone else until you see the other side of that dark room. I promise you, Annette, I thought that I was going to die by the hands of my husband. I truly believed that, and I was comfortable with that.
How did you end up leaving? Because you said you were married for 6 years. So how did
And I went into the military at 22. So see, it's people think that, oh, things just happen in a linear, everything starts working out. No, good things, like little sparks of goodness, come up in someone's road, but we're still in the mess. We're still in the mess. So here I am in a horrific relationship, and I watch a commercial on TV about the reserves, about the Air Force, about being somebody you never thought you could be. And something inside me, I always had it. I just quiet, quiet, quiet. But something in me just exploded like, yes. Right. So I remember him reading a newspaper and me saying, "Sir, nothing. Sir, what? Can I?" Remember, I had to ask permission to even get dressed.
My God.
Can I join the Air Force? And it's going to be, it's going to be once a month. It's going to be 2 weeks a year. It's going to train me and ta 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 ta. And then he's like, "Are you stupid? You're not good enough. Have you not looked at yourself? You're not smart. I'm telling you, I'm saving you. I'm saving you." They're going to say no. So just get that out of your, but can I? And I, for the first time in this weird relationship, I tried one more. But if they're going to say no, can I try anyway? Right? And then he says, "Well, do the effing you want." Permission. That was my permission. And I went to a recruiter. I took the test. And for the first time in my life, really, there was a body, an organization, a person in front of me saying, "We want you.
Wow.
You qualify." I do. I am smart enough to be in the Air Force. Yes, you are. Oh my gosh. And you're saying that my accent is not. Ericka, the Air Force wants you to be an airman. And that was my first spark. But can I go back a little bit, Annette?
Yes.
Am I taking too much
No,
time?
no. Go.
Before I had the courage to ask my ex-husband if I could go into the Air Force, something very significant happened. Because one day, he was beating me. I couldn't tell you why. I just remember that my clothes was all torn, and I somehow managed to get out of the house. And I'm holding on to the little pieces of shirt I still have left, and I'm running. And I'm running fast because I know he's behind me. And I'm running through an alley, and I see windows, and I see people looking down at me. And then the next thing I know is lights in front of me. And this police officer gets out of his patrol car, takes his jacket off, puts it on me, and then holds on to the front of the jacket and pulls me in. It says, "Ericka, if you don't do something to save your own life, we're going to find your dead body in the desert." And then let go of me. And that was the first time another angel, that first time that I said, "Oh, what he's doing is wrong. Oh, this is not normal. Oh, I have a choice to get out." Another spark. So that stayed in me. So when I'm watching that commercial and I go, "Oh my gosh, this is it. Like this can be my way out. This can be the way of me creating distance." But I went to basic training. I went to tech school. I came home to the same environment, Annette. And, I'm telling the audience, there's always hope. There's always a way out. For me, it took a long time. If I went into the military at 22 and I basic training in technical school, maybe another year, I was 23. It took me 3 more years to leave that person that told me that if I left would kill me. It took me 3 more years to leave that environment in which sometimes, everyone, I had to sleep. Oh my gosh, so it sounds crazy. I had to sleep with a knife.
Oh my God.
Underneath my pillow, because everyone, I'm not perfect, but I cannot tell you how many times I thought of killing him.
Mm.
I did. I didn't,
Yeah.
but those thoughts crossed my mind all the time until I was able to find enough courage. I was able to find another angel. I was able to walk my own path of not surviving, not existing, but of living.
Mm. And so you joined the Air Force and you
Mhm.
escaped this situation, thank God. And you served how many years?
I served 32 and a half years.
That's incredible.
Yeah, 32 and a half years in and out of active duty, but I think I kept my word. When the Air Force said, "We want you," and the Air Force was this amazing opportunity that said, "We believe in you." And I, for the first time, felt valued as a person, that I had worth in a room. I, you know, that first night of basic training, I gave a promise. I'm looking at everybody, and I'm looking at my situation. I'm looking at the military training instructors scream all over the place. And I'm like, I got you, dude. Right? You're not touching me. Right? I'm like, scream all you want. You know, I know what evil is, and you're not. And I gave a promise. I'm looking up, I'm looking at that bed, and I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you that I'm not going to be beaten and raped tonight. Thank you that that you have given me an opportunity to truly showcase who I can be in the future, because then I wasn't, but it was a potential. And I told the Air Force, right? You will never, my beloved Air Force, you will never be ashamed or disappointed that you selected me as one of your own.
Oh my gosh. So once they said those words to you, "We want you, you are enough." That just sparked this whole other journey for you, right? I mean, you were like on fire.
Mhm.
Okay.
I loved it. Oh my gosh. I mean, I loved it. I mean, mind you, the military, and you know this, right? The military, it's good, bad, and ugly,
Right.
right? There's moments in which you're like, why am I doing this again? But it's the beauty of combining everything together, the beauty of looking back and smiling about it. That makes that amazing chapter be worth telling.
What else helped you besides feeling wanted in the Air Force? What else helped you get through life? Because you went through a lot of trauma. And I mean, to continue to stay focused and motivated and get up each day, and I'm sure that was not easy still.
I kept telling myself it's temporary.
Okay.
It's just today. Oh, today too? Okay. Okay. I just knew that it was temporary. And a couple of days ago, maybe 3 days ago, it's interesting because we have these chats, and we don't realize how significant uh, us telling ourselves it's temporary is. So I don't remember. So if I say this wrong, please forgive me. But there was a prisoner of war, and he survived captivity. And he was being interviewed, and they asked him, what made you survive
Mhm.
versus all your peers that passed away. And he said, well, those individuals were too positive. And the reporter goes, what do you mean? Being positive is a good thing. He goes, just let me explain. When we were captured, I very quickly knew the reality of where we were in. They thought in order for them to protect themselves, in order for them to protect their psychic, they said, this is nothing. This is nothing. We'll be out of here by Christmas. And they kept this amazing attitude of, oh, any day, Christmas, by Christmas, we'll be home. Christmas came and went. And when Christmas came and went, they lost hope. And even before, right before we went on air, we were talking about hope. Those individuals lost hope. And because of that, and other reasons, of course, they lost their lives. For this warrior that's being interviewed, he said, what kept me going was that I knew the reality of my situation. And I knew that it was temporary. I didn't know what day it was going to be better, but I knew that there was a day when I wasn't going to be there anymore. And I'm listening to this, a few days ago, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's my philosophy, right? Life is gonna keep kicking us in the rib cage, sometimes in the face. And can we be persistent enough? Can we be resilient enough to absorb the hit, to know that that's reality? But because it's reality today doesn't mean that it's going to be reality tomorrow. Am I making sense?
Yeah, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
There are so many of us in so many different situations who just feel like it's just never going to end. And so we don't know how to program our mindset to tell ourselves this is just temporary.
Yeah.
And so it's very powerful, especially coming from a prisoner of war or someone like you've gone through this trauma. It's just like, oh my gosh, I need to relook at myself and not feel, not have a pity party is what we say in my house. Don't have a pity party. It's going to be okay. And it's hard to think like that, right? Because in that moment, it's never going to end. This sucks. It's just all these things. So it's really inspiring to hear those words. It's just temporary. But also to face reality too.
That's right. That's right.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, I mean, with my coaching clients, it's all about mindset, all about mindset. With some of the classes that I teach, some of the masterminds that I walk people through, it's all about self-growth and self-development and self-understanding, because it's really hard. And going back to that scenario, it's really hard for someone. And I think that all of us know a person in our lives that is always positive, always positive, always positive. But it's really hard to be smiling and be happy. Like, how do you define happiness? Well, that's another conversation. When you're going through a divorce, when you're going through, domestic violence, when you lost a child, when you have a sick child, a sick parent, all those things in life that they're raw, and they touch every single cell of your body. And all your energy is just to stay connected to you, because you're going to explode if you don't. And then you have someone here going, it's going to get better. It's all good. Just smile, come out, eat. And you're like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Because there's a process. So do I think that positive mindset helps? Of course. But we don't need that jumpy puppy with high energy telling us how we should feel when we're in pain, when we're just trying to regroup or trying to just analyze what just hit us.
No, absolutely. You're right. I laugh because I've had people like that. Come on, you'll be okay. And you're just like, let me just have my moment. Let me just reflect in this today.
Yes.
And I'll
Yes.
be back tomorrow.
Yes.
So I love that you've taken your experience and now you coach. You're a coach, and so you
Yeah.
help people get through this. And so that's just it's amazing. I heard this phrase a few years ago that said your mess is your message. And I love seeing stuff like this because it is, you took your mess and you're making it into this message of hope and trying to live again. And so
Mhm.
I think it's so amazing. So you did the Air Force for 32 years, and then you went into you were a special agent.
Mhm.
How did you even go into that route?
Well, the Air Force, remember, I navigated active duty assignments with being in the reserve.
Hmm.
And so the shifting of time when I was in the reserve, in a traditional role of being a reservist, I was able to get this amazing career in law enforcement. And at the beginning, I did it because it attracted me, did not know why it was attracting me. Now, talking to you, now years removed, Annette, I think I did it to be safe. I think I did it because I didn't want to be hurt by anyone again. It's one of those things that, and I think all of us have them. This will never happen again. I will never be in this situation again. And we all have those moments. And I think the more I self analyze, right, that I went into law enforcement to truly be a protector of my own self, to to be able to physically defend myself. Uh, and it's going to sound weird, but having a weapon and knowing how to use it gave me this security of no one will ever hurt me again or anyone I love.
That's so interesting. That is, but I can see that. I can see it. That
Mhm.
makes sense. So how long did you do that for?
27 years.
Oh my gosh, you
I
look
know,
too
a long
young.
time.
You
Long
look
time.
so
I'm
young
telling
to
you.
be doing all of this.
No, it's so I retired from the Air Force in 2019, and it
Okay.
was pretty amazing. And I retired from Homeland Security. I worked for Customs and Border Protection, and before
Mhm.
Customs, I don't know if you remember, but there was another agency years ago called INS, right, the
Mhm. Yes.
Immigration Agency, and that's why, and that's how my background is in human trafficking and human smuggling, which you would think, oh, why would you do that? But I got a chance to put really bad people in prison and save a lot of people at the same time. It was amazing. And why 27 years? Because it's just like the Air Force. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. My daughter just graduated with a criminal justice degree and she wants to go FBI, but she wants to specialize in child trafficking. So I definitely have to connect her.
Ah,
I need to have
here
her
I
talk to
am.
you. I
Yes.
know. I'm like,
Yes, and I work with the FBI. Once you're a special agent, in 1811 is what it's called. Uh, all those agencies just coexist, collaborate together, work task forces together. So I got a chance to work with amazing, amazing people in the FBI, ATF, DEA, and yeah, it was great. I loved it.
that's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to
Mhm.
have her connect with you. Um, what? Oh my gosh. I just like I'm so proud to know you right now because
Oh,
it's so hard to get out of that that dark place when you've lived it for so long, but then you continued and you found your strength, and it's not many people can do that. And so I think it's really amazing, and you're such a role model for so many women, and I think it's great. This is why I think so many people love you on LinkedIn. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, it's just so exciting," and I love her, and I was like, "Oh, let me find out more about this lady." She really is an absolute role model. So I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate you being on here. And um, how can people get in contact with you, because you have so much to give?
Oh, well, just let me say, I appreciate your words. I really, really do. Annette, I'm living my purpose.
Yeah.
For so many years, I was lost. And it took a little while to get on the road. I got off the road a little bit once in a
Yeah.
while, right? Not perfect. But right now, um, I am living my purpose, which is to give more than I receive. To give more than I receive. How people can get a hold of me, LinkedIn definitely is,
Mhm.
it's my happy place. But people can find me on Ericka Kelly Enterprises.com. That's my website. And I'm here for you. I'm here for the audience. And I'm just excited that, like you said, all that, sometimes it looks like a big mess, but if you just throw it up and all those pieces just fall into place, then it becomes a really beautiful picture.
Yes, absolutely. What is one thing you would like to tell those that are watching? We've got people on YouTube and Facebook that are watching and listening. What is something that you would like to leave with them?
Forgiveness.
Mm,
There's going to be, there has been, I'm sure, plenty of people that have hurt you. Forgive them. And it's not easy, and it's also a process. But forgiveness will give all of us a freedom that we need in order for us to gain the self awareness to be bigger than the situation that we're in. Bigger than the situation that we're in. Can I share a quick 2 minute story?
yes.
My mother, the woman that left me, the woman that brought me by force, the woman that kicked me out at 16. Anger fed me. People asked if she was sick, what would you do? And I go, "Psh, I could see my mother, you know, in the gutter, and I would leave her there. I would just walk by her.
Mm,
Different Ericka.
yeah.
My mother, um, I learned from a different perspective. I learned my mother's story. I shared mine, but from my mother's story, she was 15 when she got married. She was 18 when she had the three of us.
Mm,
She was 20 when she left, and she was already separated from my 21-year-old father. And she saw herself in a third world country, female, three kids. And she made the decision to walk with a girlfriend to the United States so she could find a future. I don't think, I never had a chance to ask her, but I don't think that she left us to die. I think she left us to create distance, never thinking that it would take 7 days for someone to rescue us. And a few years ago, she had a massive stroke, and she is paralyzed, total care patient.
mm,
And she's home with me between my one of those brothers in that room. He's a special needs person with autism, high functioning. Uh, Between my brother, my two sons, and I, we take care of my mother, their grandmother. And she's loved, and she's protected, and she understands everything that's going around her. And we remind her that she will never, ever be alone and abandoned.
oh my gosh. That's beautiful. I I know it's taken you a long time to get to that, but
Mhm.
you're right. Forgiveness gives you peace because it'll hold on to you and grab you if you don't learn to let go. And to hear your mom's side of the story is because you just didn't know. You didn't know.
Yeah. And who am I to judge her?
Right.
I mean, literally, who am I to put myself in my situation and look at a 15-year-old that's getting married, look at an 18-year-old with 3 kids, look at a 20-year-old desperate woman trying to make a horrible or a decision that's going to change her life
Yeah.
forever,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
judge her, and now see this woman that's fragile, sick, maybe with a little bit of regret in her heart.
Hmm. Hmm.
Who am I to punish her? I'm not. I'm her daughter. That's why at the beginning, I said, being a chief, awesome. Being an agent, awesome. Being a coach, awesome. But I love the title of mom. I love the title of daughter. I love the title of sister.
You're right, because besides everything else, that's the one that will stay forever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being on here and for sharing your story and for just being you because that's, well, we obviously need you in our lives. So for those of you that are watching and listening, I will link her information in the profile and go find her, connect with her. So thank you so much for your time and for being here.
Thank you, Annette, so much. It was a pleasure. It was great being with you.
Thank you.